But before I begin, I just want to extend my sincere congratulations to this year's Peace Through Business graduates. And of course, I'd also like to commend the Peace Through Business team under the leadership of Dr. Terry Neese for your unwavering commitment to this program and tireless efforts to make this year's virtual leadership forum a reality. But it's a pleasure to be with you all today and share my perspectives on advocating for your business, which includes identifying key stakeholders and influencers, like Debbie said, highlighting some tools you can leverage in your own advocacy efforts, and the foundational values that guide my engagement across the range of stakeholder groups. For those of you not familiar with AT&T, we're a modern media and communications company, so we provide customers around the world with connectivity, technology, advertising, as well as news and entertainment, including through CNN and the Warner Brothers studios. So as you can imagine, we encounter a diverse range of business and policy issues that have the potential to impact our customers and operations around the world. So I'm part of the team responsible for international advocacy. And part of my portfolio includes AT&T's engagement with the US State Department, as well as the company's engagement in multilateral organizations, where countries and stakeholders come together to debate and develop policies related to the internet and communications sector, such as online privacy, intellectual property protection, cross-border data flows, which are the lifeblood of global commerce, how to regulate or not emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, among many other issues. My goal in these venues is to advocate for policies and outcomes that promote private sector investment, innovation, flexible business models, and market access, while guarding against any overly restrictive or burdensome rules that have the potential to negatively impact our business financially or operationally, or impede our ability to serve our customers. A key to driving positive advocacy outcomes is developing a strategic objective. Like Debbie said, what is the desired outcome that advances my company's business goals? And then shaping a proactive engagement and advocacy plan. And the complexity of this will depend upon the scope and the scale of your issue. If you're not familiar already, I'd encourage you to gain an understanding of the relevant legislative or other rulemaking processes that impact your business and begin to identify opportunities to engage and help shape these outcomes. And so while many issues may be of interest to you, consider aligning your advocacy priorities with those of your business. For example, what are the major revenue streams? Which markets are most critical to your company's success? And what products and markets have you identified to drive your future success? And so this alignment is what differentiates advocacy programs that are merely a collection of tactics from advocacy programs that help advance a company's strategic objectives. And this is very powerful. So once you know your strategic objective, you can start considering all of the various stakeholders and influencers who have an interest in or a decision-making role in the outcome, which parties may be potential allies and partners, and also which may be on the other side of the issue. And I really can't overemphasize here the importance of building strong and trusted stakeholder relationships and continuing to grow your network. For example, get to know your local representatives and other key officials who are the decision makers in your communities and in the markets in which you operate. For my job, this includes government representatives in the United States and around the world, and the elected leadership of international organizations and their staff. For you, this may be your mayor and town councils, or your state and federal representatives and others. And ideally, you'll connect with these leaders before reaching out to them for the first time when you're seeking their assistance or support. I think having an established, positive working relationship in place can help accelerate response times and spur a willingness to help, as opposed to a cold call. And in my experience, I've found that government officials are very interested to learn about the work we do and the many benefits the business community as a whole brings to the table, whether it's adding new jobs, increased investment, supporting community initiatives, or providing an innovative service or product to their constituents. So don't be shy about sharing all the great work you are doing, and be sure to do so from the perspective of how your efforts support and align with these leaders' objectives. Introducing government officials and policymakers to both you and your business helps position you as a potential partner. And in addition to this direct advocacy you may undertake on your own, as Debbie described, you can also leverage business coalition and trade associations to help advance your business interests. And I would say these organizations also offer an excellent way to grow your network. I have personally found trade associations to be extremely useful forums for sharing information among the membership and advancing my company's priorities, both through written submissions into policy regulatory proceedings, or even supplementing outreach efforts and exposing me to a broader business community beyond my own sector. Then, of course, in addition to formal trade associations, in some cases, we may organize an informal coalition of companies and other organizations who have a shared interest in an issue. And we can share information and coordinate stakeholder outreach among us. It certainly brings weight to add to your case a multiple of voices and company names that will amplify your position. So the main point here is that coordination and coalition building are essential. But also highlight for a moment third-party groups, such as consumer groups and other public interest organizations. These can also serve as helpful partners in your advocacy. They bring their own network of contacts and establish relationships. And importantly, these credible third-party voices are most powerful when they are telling their own story in their own words. And finally, as Debbie mentioned, you may also want to consider how to engage with stakeholders and potentially the press through social media. With the advent of blogs, Twitter, and several other social networking platforms, there are a range of options to help get your message out. And just a word of caution, the press and media relations area of work is a specialty, so you may consider getting media training so that you're comfortable speaking to the press and being on the record. So with regard to effective engagement with these stakeholders, I'm sure many of these tips will be familiar or obvious, but I do think that they deserve reinforcement. So first, it's critical to know your audience. You may need to adjust your messaging or pitch depending upon which of these groups you're engaging with. So consider what's important to this specific person or group. How does your business or product support a shared priority or align with their key values? If you can, quantify the impact of the outcome you're seeking to achieve or trying to prevent, and make clear how the decision will impact their respective constituents and communities. Does it impact jobs? Does it improve or reduce the ease of doing business and influence your future investment decisions in that community? Are there potential social impacts related to health or education? If so, these are important data points to convey. Also, before a meeting with a new policymaker or stakeholder, I do my research. I read his or her bio and articles they've written so I better understand their background and perspectives. Even sharing a common interest, hometown, or favorite sport team can help provide an opportunity to connect at a personal level. If I'm meeting with someone who is not from the United States, I search the news that day for any major current events in their country that I should be aware of. And I also check if there are any particular business customs I may need to observe, which is particularly critical when working in a global setting. So in addition to knowing your audience, be on time. Everyone's time is precious. And after the meeting or phone call, send a follow-up email thanking the individual for his or her time and promptly do any follow-up to keep the momentum going. Also, don't be afraid to ask or to make the ask or express what you need. I know this can sometimes be difficult. Just remember that the worst thing a person can say is no. And if that's the case, consider whether you can reformulate your ask or provide additional data that may ultimately sway their support to your side. I've also found it helpful to have an elevator pitch handy, a short explanation of the issue and why it's important to my company, so I'm ready to take advantage of a brief and often unplanned interaction with the key official or stakeholder. This has been especially useful when attending networking events and receptions and helps establish a path forward for follow-up conversations. So related to this, knowing your issue thoroughly and being able to explain it in relatable terms will earn you respect, add to your credibility, and lead to repeat engagement. Yes, you can certainly bring a technical or other expert into some conversations, but the successful advocate needs to know enough to be credible and be the person who gets the phone call when the stakeholder needs more information or has questions. So in summary, make yourself the go-to person for your set of priority issues. Also, think big, but recognize that some of your desired outcomes may be achieved in incremental steps. In many instances, Policy change takes time and requires a long-term strategic plan with milestone markers along the way. And also, going back to the social distancing aspect, these restrictions on physical gathering have forced us to rethink of creative ways to engage with our respective stakeholders and networks. Of course, this year's leadership forum is evident of just that. But thanks to technology, virtual panels, coffee hours, and even happy hours are allowing us to have continued substantive discussion, as well as facilitate ongoing relationship building. And of course, this helps us to feel like we're at least are a bit connected during this time of social distancing. So while identifying your key stakeholders, growing your network, and mapping out advocacy plans and tools for engagement are certainly important, I argue that how we conduct ourselves is even more critical to shaping successful outcomes. First, in my opinion, being authentic and true to yourself is critical. It is important to believe in what you're selling, whether it's a product, service, or an idea. And I imagine that you, as entrepreneurs and business owners, your business reflects your core values and your passion shines through. For me, AT&T's mission to empower people through connectivity, along with our corporate values, among others, that embrace equality, diversity, and freedom of the press, speech, and beliefs, align with my own value system. I'm proud to work for AT&T, and I'm passionate about my work. And I believe this is evident when I advocate on behalf of the company, and this gives me added credibility. So to round out my comments, the past leader of AT&T's external affairs organization, for whom I have an incredible amount of respect, shared with the team a list of core values he found important to guiding our engagement in the political arena and in the formation of public policy. I feel some of these are well worth repeating here and can be applicable to you as you engage in advocacy efforts on behalf of your own businesses. So first, operate with integrity. This is the cornerstone for all of us, both professionally and personally. In fact, it's a core value of life. Second, respect others and foster teamwork. This includes promoting trust, collegiality, and inclusiveness in the workplace while respecting differences, whether cultural or ideological. Maintain high standards of honesty. Without candor and honesty, credibility is lost. And again, be substantive. Knowledge is vital to effective advocacy. Seek to persuade, but also seek to understand. Listening with an open mind is essential to finding solutions. Seek allies. Strong alliances build momentum and drive success. Be honorable. Keep your word even when it becomes inconvenient. Trust others and show you're worthy of trust. And finally, don't make permanent enemies. Today's opponent is often tomorrow's crucial ally. So in closing, and on a personal note, while success is often viewed through the lens of wins and losses, I've come to realize that the strong relationships I have built with other women in the tech field across the globe, and the support and encouragement I have received from these friends and mentors is a reward in itself. Programs like Peace Through Business provide a meaningful platform for engagement, empowerment, and a supportive network for women. I'm so thrilled that AT&T has been a longstanding partner of this initiative. So with that, again, my congratulations to the class of 2020. I cannot wait to hear about all of your extraordinary accomplishments in your communities and beyond. So thank you again for the opportunity to be with you today. Thank you.